Did anyone hear about the lawyer, the South African lawyer that was fined because they presented cases in the court that were fake? Yeah, I was in PE a few weeks ago, and I gave a talk, and someone asked me that question in the room and said, Nikki, you know, when something like that happens, should we still be trusting AI with critical information? And my answer is yes, of course. In my opinion, that was not a software error. That is human error. Because whatever the data feedback you get as a professional, it is your responsibility to question that analysis. It is your responsibility to fact check. This output that I have from this system, is it accurate? Because AI can hallucinate and make up stories that are so convincingly sound right, but they are not right. So the ability as a professional for you to question any outcome from AI software or systems is critical. That's going to be a more critical skill than you doing the analysis yourself. That whatever feedback it gives you, you sit down with it, you question it, you fact check, you research before you submit it. Any questions? Any comments? Yes.
Do you have any specific risk that you feel that should be highlighted with the implementation of, let's say, an AI system? Something that you're particularly concerned about maybe?
When it comes to artificial intelligence, there's always risk. Right? There's a lot of risk involved. One of the stories I was online recently, let me calm down if you don't mind. One of the stories I was online recently was about an AI system that generated a policy that didn't exist in an organization, where a customer logged in and they were trying to get through to their subscription, and the AI that is operating in the background told them that, oh, there's this new policy, 1, 2, 3, and they cannot go through. So that's one of the risks, right? So this person ended up writing about it on social media, and I don't remember exactly what the name of the company was, but what happened is that so many people unsubscribed. They're like, no, we don't accept this new policy. Now when it got to the CEO, they're like, we don't have a policy like that. AI had completely made it up. So that's one of the risks that I can think about, unless that's not the type of risk you're asking in regards to. But there's a lot of risk when it comes to artificial intelligence. And that's why, for me, there should always be a human in the loop. At least for now, there are systems that are coming out that a human will not be needed in the loop. When you think of agentic AI agents that are coming out, that is like an independent system operating independently on its own. But it's still early days. We are going to get there. But for now, I think there should always be a human in the loop. Any other questions or comments?
I agree with you that we should be a human in the loop, but I also think that humans always go back to that what we know about certain things. Because if you look at some AI-generated things, you can actually see if you look closely, and that's what I think you have to sensitize it. Not just believe what you see, because that's very quickly that we believe Google. You know, you don't listen to the doctor any longer because you believe Google.
Right.
So this is, and if you start prescribing to your own prescriptions, which is wrong, you should still look at it very closely and use your intelligence in your own mind to assess that and to make sure that what you're looking at is the truth.
Absolutely. She's making a very important point, very important. And it's one of the things that I am highlighting as well, which is to develop a healthy form of skepticism. Because seeing used to be believing, right? Seeing is no longer believing. I posted something on my LinkedIn yesterday. It's a video of a car show that is entirely generated by AI. The cars, the people in that car show, the interviews, everything. It looks so real, you cannot distinguish if this was AI generated or it's a real car show that happened. And so one of the things I was saying, if anyone goes on my LinkedIn, the last post, I was literally talking about this. I was like, question everything. Verify, 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 and verify. In the past, when you were around someone who was a bit skeptical, you're like, oh, you're so difficult to convince and all of that. That is actually a skill now. If your colleague calls you and they're in a panic, and verify. Is that really your colleague? Even if it's your husband, your wife, verify and verify and verify. We are living in dangerous times. So yeah, that was a good one. Anything else? I saw your hand there. Yeah?
Is it better for the company to create their own AI to improve their business, or to, I don't know, adopt an existing one on a license?
Both. I would say both. If an organization can, say, afford to build their own system, that is much better, it's much safer, right? You know that your data is safe and all of that. But if you can't, even with the models that you get from outside, still kind of personalize it so that it understands what your organization is all about. Personalize it so that it understands what your culture is all about. Personalize it and in a way that it doesn't end up creating fake policies that don't exist, like the example I was sharing earlier. So both of them works. If an organization can get an enterprise AI from a third party, which is okay, many organizations are doing that. But for the big guys who have the money and they want to build their own system, that is actually the best way to go about it, because again, the safety aspects of it and cybersecurity and all of that, you have much more control than when someone else controls it. This side, you didn't have coffee this morning? So, anything else?
Can I ask you a follow-up?
Yeah, sure.
If you go with a license agreement with one of the top 3 runners in artificial intelligence, even if you have a paid subscription, and it said that the information is encoded, how secure is it? How secure is it?
That question feels like a setup right now. There are always going to be vulnerabilities when it comes to AI, all right? Even with the in-house one, it's not a foolproof thing. There will always be vulnerabilities, and I think the focus shouldn't be to how to completely eliminate those vulnerabilities, but it's to live with that awareness, to consistently be aware that this can happen, there can be vulnerabilities. And again, the systems are becoming so smart that sometimes they do things on their own. You could have your own system and your AI decides to go rogue. Then what happens, right? So the vulnerabilities are always there, but if you keep your eyes like, hey, I'm watching you, you can minimize some of those vulnerabilities. Because once you get to the point, this is why I'm careful to answer the question. Once you get to the point where you feel like you've eliminated the vulnerabilities, it's even more dangerous. So rather live with that consciousness that anything could go wrong, than relax like, no, we sorted it out. So that would be my take on that. Anything else? Yes?
In your opinion, what's currently the best AI platform to use? Also, like, how do you prompt it? Do you need to teach it?
You need to get my upcoming book. There's a chapter on prompting. Yeah, but when it comes to the best, I don't want to be biased. I use ChatGPT, right? Because I have trained it to understand me and understand my language. I don't want to try another model. I know DeepSeek has been the thing since it came out. For some reason, I haven't even experimented with it because I'm that stuck with ChatGPT. But for a lot of people and organizations, they're using Copilot, right? Even ChatGPT itself has the enterprise version of it where organizations are deploying. So I don't know, is your question based from an organizational perspective or from an individual perspective?
No, it's for myself.
Oh, for yourself, okay. You use what I use. But there are other tools out there. And also it depends what you're trying to achieve, right? Because the project determines which tool to use. If you're looking at something maybe that, even though OpenAI is integrating almost everything into ChatGPT now, where you could do voice, you could do images, you could do videos and all of that. But then Midjourney is a thing, depending on what you're looking at. There are other tools that are essentially just for voice, other tools that are better at videos, other tools that are better at research, other tools that are better at things that has to do with maybe mathematics or some sort of science. So there are different tools out there. You could explore and see which one best suits your needs, right? It could be Anthropic, it could be Gemini. Me and Gemini, we're not good friends. But that's me anyway. So You can always speak based on exactly what you are looking for. I'm too much of a loyal person, so I kind of start with ChatGPT. Yeah, anything else? Yeah.
Earlier in your presentation, you mentioned the shorter courses to learn it's better than.
Yeah.
So, is there any course that you would recommend?
Again, it depends on what you are looking for. What are your needs? Your personal needs, right? Your professional needs, your career needs. But if you were to go, for example, if you were to go on ChatGPT, right, and say, I am this, my name is this, I am in this field, and I'm looking at enhancing my skill here and there and there, what can you recommend? Right? It gives you a better option than what I can tell you right now, because that's one of the beauties of these things. So you go in and you give in your profession, your line of work, how long you've been in the industry, what you're looking to do. You give in these things and say, okay, this is where I am right now, but I want to evolve as a person. What do you suggest? It will give you a whole lot of things you can go through. I'll send you an invoice for that. All right, looks like we are done.